Hi guys, Deanne here from Canada Abroad and thanks for tuning in. Today we're just going to be talking a little bit about visiting Canada. So if you're interested in visiting Canada just for a holiday, so you don't actually want to work or study, but you just want to go and visit, then you will apply for a visit visa. But depending on what kind of passport you possess, you might not have to apply for an actual visit visa. You might be eligible to apply for an electronic travel authorization. So the first thing you would want to do is check if you need a proper visit visa or an electronic travel authorization, because the application process is different and the processing times are very different for the two. So if you want to check if your passport allows you to apply for that electronic travel authorization or not, just check the description below this video, and we've provided the link where you can go and check what kind of authorization you need to enter Canada. The next thing to keep in mind is if you're going to do the electronic travel authorization and you're eligible, these are approved extremely quickly. So usually within a matter of hours, but it can take up to 48 or 72 hours if it's a bit of a more complicated one. And once that's been issued, it's valid for multiple entries for up to 10 years. If you need to apply for a visit visa, the process is a little more complex and it's going to be a longer processing time. So with that, you would need to submit a full application for a visit visa, and that can be done online or through your closest visa facilitation center. This type of application has application forms, and you would need to submit supporting documents that might vary depending on the type of visit that you're looking for. If it's a business visit, if it's just a holiday, or to visit family, there'll be different supporting documents that you need to include with your application. Now, with a visit visa or even an eTA, an electronic travel authorization, you're only allowed to stay for a maximum of 6 months on your visit into Canada. So when you arrive in Canada, depending on if you see an officer or one of the electronic machines, your passport would be stamped, and basically you're allowed to remain in Canada for 6 months from that date of entry. You would need to leave Canada before going over that 6 months, or you would be considered in violation of the immigration regulations. Once you are in Canada though, if you feel like you need to extend your visit for any reason, you can apply online for an extension of your visitor status. And again, this would be done online, so you don't have to go in person anywhere. But you would have to explain why you would want to stay in Canada longer and provide supporting documents to show that you can sustain yourself while in Canada. Then, while that application is processing, you're allowed to remain in Canada until a decision has been reached. And if they've granted you the extension, then they will mail you a visitor record that shows the date that you need to leave Canada. And if it's been refused, you then, once you've received that decision, would need to depart Canada. Now, a visit visa is going to cost you $100 Canadian at the time of this recording. And if you've never visited Canada before, you also now would have to complete biometrics. So that is just going to complete digital photos and fingerprints. And the cost for that is an additional $85 Canadian. Now, at the time that we are recording this, we are in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic. So some of the visa application centers across the world are shut down right now. And the important thing to note here is if you cannot complete the biometrics as part of your application, the application cannot be approved. It would be pending until those were completed. The other thing to note is with the current border restrictions that are in place, not everyone is eligible to go and visit Canada right now. So you would have to check if you are included in the exemptions and if you would be allowed to visit Canada at this time. So even if you submitted your application and it was approved, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can get on the plane and go to visit Canada right now. So just also keep that in mind. And for those that are eligible to apply for the electronic travel authorization, you will be requested to make payment online when you're submitting the application, and it's going to cost you $7 Canadian to go ahead with that application. Now, if you want to visit Canada to visit your child or your grandchild, and you know that you would like to stay longer than 6 months, then you might want to look at applying for what's called a super visa. These are visas that are specifically for the parents or grandparents of a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, and they can allow you to stay for 2 years or longer at one time. So if you are interested in that, then you'll want to go and look at our video that's specific to super visas. Because right now, the ones that we're talking about, this is just the normal visit visas that are going to allow you to stay for that 6 months in Canada. And again, it doesn't authorize you to work or study a full-time program, it's just to visit. But on that note, if you do want to go to Canada to study some kind of course that is less than 6 months in duration, maybe it's an English course, you can do that on a visit visa, but you would just want to include the documents about that program with your application. So thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with the latest Canadian immigration news and updates, and we'll see you soon.